Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 94 of Two Amazon Sellers and a Microphone, brought to you by Solozo. Today, Kris and I are excited to bring on Hai Mag with us. He's the CEO of Eva.guru. And Hai, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. And now we are three Amazon sellers.
Yeah, exactly.
Go.
I love it. Yeah, and we're gonna pick your brain. That's why we do this. We love talking. Great thing going with Eva, so we're looking forward to learning more about that. But we were talking before, and you're in San Diego. Must be nice down there.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we are working really hard nowadays, like 16 hours a day. But every day, like when I do surfing, like 1 hour or two, that really helps a lot for us to re-energize. So the whole team is super happy to work a lot. That's great.
That is nice. Surfing sounds better than what I do. My little jog around my neighborhood in Kansas City. Not a whole lot of surfing going on out here where Kris and I are, but
not a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ocean is super great. You know, when you are next to the ocean, you feel like you understand what Amazon is. It's like the Pacific Ocean is too big, and there is a lot to do. And whatever you do, you will never do it. There is money and a lot of things to do for everybody. So that's what I see.
There's a lot of piece of pie for everybody in this area.
That's right.
And you can't conquer it all. I love the analogy. No. That's a great analogy, Hai. All right, real quick before we dive in, because we want to talk about just everything you've got going on over there at Eva and all the things you're doing to help sellers. Just real quick, can you give us a background on you, how you got into this space? You mentioned that you're an Amazon seller and now you're starting Eva. Give us a little brief background of you.
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks for that. So I have these two careers in parallel. So one is more the corporate guy. I was I was working for Oracle for a long time, which is a software company, and I was I was managing Middle East and Africa for Oracle. That was my last role. But I worked in China, Russia, UK. Europe, North America. So for Oracle, so that was like my career. And 10 years back, I met with Barry, who's my co-founder, and he was like, kind of creating his Amazon business at the time. And we decided to be partners at the time. Like I was more kind of an investor and, helping with, sales advisors. But yeah, he ended up being like a 7-figure seller, like after 8 years. And at the same time, I was always like, yeah, I'm coming, but I was never coming because to the business, because I was like promoting to the next levels on Oracle. And at some point when I was the vice president, like I finally decided, that's enough corporate life. I'm gonna do a startup because Barry was already struggling with a couple of things, and we thought like these are like great things that we can, bring the whole knowledge of computer engineering, my Oracle knowledge, his Amazon selling knowledge, and we bring it together and we created Eva. And that's almost now 24 months. It's like a day for me. Like the Jeff Bezos says, like it's a new day, the first day every day. I mean, for me, it's like one day. I mean, I don't know, like what happened between that time, because we worked so hard. There's so many things happen, and it's so much exciting. But yeah, that's how we ended up with Eva.guru, and today, that's what we do.
And what year was that when you first got started with Amazon? When you started to explore Amazon with Barry?
Well, yeah, the things always start the same way, like we looked at the retail arbitrage, that was like 10 years ago. And by the way, it was a much better situation then, but for us, it was like not very sustainable. We liked the profits, but it was not sustainable. Online arbitrage a bit, but finally, like finding the right suppliers and starting with reselling really helped us for many years to grow the business to 7 figures. And once we kind of started launching a few private labels, that also helped with the profits, so that's kind of our journey. I think it's kind of a standard journey now on Amazon, but we also make a lot of money from reselling too, so it's not a bad business. It's great, but private label is ultimately the best way, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it started. I think that's how everybody starts, is they start doing some retail arbitrage and some online arbitrage, and the next thing you know, they're doing their own label. So I think that's how everybody gets into it.
Yeah, I mean, the easiest one was just pick the things from Walmart and sell it on Amazon. So easy. Yeah. And I remember that we were making some good deal of money, but yeah, once you want to reach to more than 1 million, the only way is I think a private label, or you need suppliers, to have a sustainable business.
No doubt. Yeah, it's pretty hard to scale going to Walmart every day.
And even different Walmarts, because you cannot find the same item in the same Walmart. So you need to travel all the way. Exciting stuff. It's a good way to start with, let's put it in this way.
Oh, for sure. That my wife and I did that when I first started. We'd go around all over the place and do it. It really helps you learn. I mean, if you start just private label, you really starting that way gives you an eye-opening experience to everything that Amazon offers and all the things that you need to be aware of. I feel like so. I mean, it is a great way to start. And then, so fast forward. Obviously, you started Eva. There must have been some pain points in your business that you wanted to solve, and it turned into what you're doing now. I'd love to dive into that a little bit more. What you're doing with Eva right now. How it's helping sellers.
Actually, it was 2 years ago. We were looking at now we have a good understanding, like a decade of understanding of Amazon. What are the major challenges? And, I am graduated as an AI expert, but that was 20 years ago. And I was my major was artificial intelligence as a computer engineering. Barry was, my partner has also computer engineering background. We thought let's identify the pain points and let's create something let's use this AI like an assistant to fix that problems. That's our, first of all, the foundation of thinking, how can we do that? Then obviously we find out a couple of problems that are important to look at. Number one is advertising, PPC. We thought there are some great companies doing that. Why should we do that? So we let the great company to do that, And the other couple of problems that we find out is one is pricing, that nobody is, especially on the private label side. Amazon is using dynamic pricing a lot. Amazon has hundreds of brands today. All of them are dynamically priced. We think if we are able to incorporate dynamic pricing into private labels, we can increase the profits by 20-30% at least. That was kind of our major goal. The second problem that we find was restocking, which is we have seen that all during the COVID or Q4. The forecasting, the FBA restocking is always a big issue, and we kind of focused on that one. And finally, we thought Amazon is doing a lot of things which can be there are some damaged inventory, lost inventory. So there's a good possibility of reimbursing a lot of things. So we thought can we use also AI to cover the reimbursements? So repricing, that's how we call it, repricing, restocking, and reimbursing became the idea. And then we started from repricing, continued with reimbursing, and now we are also doing restocking too for our customers.
You mentioned something there on the private label pricing.
Yeah.
What's that like? I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. Today, many of the private label sellers, they want to launch a product. They decide how much ROI they should get, and then they put a static price, let's say $49.99 as a price. Now, we think that in the e-commerce world, that type of a static price doesn't make too much sense, because the demand is changing all the time, the inventory is changing, the competition is changing, and the seasonality is also different. what even like during the same day, we analyze that even in the morning and evening on the noontime, the prices can be different. Now, Amazon allows you to do that, and we were already doing it for many years, because if you look at the resellers, Amazon lets you to change the price almost every 2 minutes. And Eva is already able to do that. So changing the price based on all these different factors can increase the profits a lot.
Okay, so I got an item that I sell, and every now and then I'll sell more. Like on a Thursday, I sell more on a Saturday. What's going to happen to my price? Is it going to like go up a little bit? Like what's that difference? Is it just $1 different? Is it 50 cents different? What does that look like if I start to get a lot of demand? How much higher is my price going to go?
No, that's a great question. Well, what we are trying to do is that, like for the same sales velocity, we are maximizing the profit by finding the best price point for the given sales velocity. Now, that's what AI is doing. And how AI is doing that? Because AI is looking at yesterday's data, 1 week before, the last 8 weeks, last 12 weeks, last year, similar items, the inventory levels and all that stuff. And then AI will come back with the best price point for the same sales velocity. So that's what we do. Now, we limit that changes to -3 to 3% every day. So we are not trying to change it a lot, because we want the pricing to follow advertising. So first, we are almost like a price second company. So the most important element in creating demand is advertising. So once the advertising is done, we get the result, and then we increase the price if the results are good, which means that also reduce the ACOS at the same time as well.
I have so many questions, because this is actually really fascinating to me. Typically, when sellers like Kris and I think about repricing, we think exclusively resellers. You're trying to win the buy box. That's why you do it. You're manipulating your price so you get the buy box, so you get the sale. Private label sellers, I do change my price, but it is not very often. It's not dynamic, and it's always for whatever reason. If I'm launching a product, I put my price a little lower to help the launch. It slowly goes up. Occasionally you reduce it. But this dynamic pricing is fascinating to me. And really, I mean, you're opening my mind to this whole concept right now of it. And I just have a ton of questions, because it's really interesting. Now, you mentioned that you do the 3%. I'm assuming because I've made the mistake of raising my price too much and I lose the buy box. Amazon slaps me.
Yeah, that's called the buy box suppression. And I mean, by the way, like, first of all, whenever I meet with a private label, I ask this question: anybody is like selling on your listing? And they always say no, never. I'm a private label. Nobody's on my listing. I'm telling you that 50% of the time there is somebody on that listing. 50%, and in some situations, 50% it's Amazon. And they're like, how come Amazon is selling my private label? Well, I don't know, but they do. Well, there are some reasons how they can do it, but I let's not go into that much. But there's also retail arbitrage or wholesale arbitrage. There are some ways to get the same listings, and so there's always somebody in that listing too. So Eva, or we call it she, because she's the one doing that, right? So she's taking care of hijackers, even if it is Amazon. That's important. You can compete with Amazon. It's normal. The other thing is, I mean, that's one point I think that is important to mention. The other point is, sometimes Amazon thinks that you are selling things for a higher price on Amazon, and maybe you're selling it lower price on Shopify or Walmart, and that's when Amazon suppressed the buy box. Again, when I ask to many private label sellers, they think that they always have the buy box. And then I tell them, like, have you checked your Amazon Seller Central? Oh, yeah, it's 92%. So where is my 8%? Well, because it's suppressed. Now, Eva, will always go and check, if any buy box is suppressed, it will also lower the price, because it is better to lower the price and get the buy box rather than keep the same price and have a suppressed buy box, because then the sales will go definitely 20 to 30% down. Nobody clicks 2 times to buy anything on Amazon. Everybody wants one-time click, and if they don't see the buy box, they think maybe something is wrong. I mean, that like 30% of buyers think something is wrong with that. That's why there is no buy box and they don't buy.
It's really cool. I mean, I'm just trying to wrap my head around what all that's happening here. And so how quickly is she detecting that you lose the buy box and making those adjustments?
Well, it will be between 5 to 10 seconds. And in 100 seconds, it will act. In 125 seconds, you will get the buy box. That's how it works. So she's super fast, especially if there are hijackers or if you lose the buy box. But if we are talking about private label pricing for sales velocity or inventory, which is also like 2 important business cases, then it will be once a day, because you don't need to change the price every day, or more than once a day, but that's more once a day. If there's a suppression, 2 minutes.
In what circumstances is she raising the price? Like, how is she knowing that it's a good chance to lock in more profits right now?
Yeah, let's assume that we have a private label customer using Celozo, and Celozo is like doing great job with PPC, and as a result of that, the sales velocity is increasing. So there are more products are sold. And as soon as Eva sees that, there is a trend that the demand is increasing, it will gradually start increasing the price based on that. So that will be like one reason. But it's not the only thing that Eva is looking at. If the right season is coming, and Eva knows that based on last year's data that this type of a product will sell better in the next month, then Eva will start gradually increasing the price and test, how the things work. And these are kind of the main situations. Another one is, what if it's Q4, your inventory level is going down, and Eva understands that, your inventory is less than 7 days left, let's say. Then Eva will think as there is no restocking coming, Eva will start increasing the price to maximize the profits, but also delay the stock up, because once you're out of stock, your ranking will go down. Your customers will be dissatisfied if they are looking for your product. So it's always better to avoid it or delay it. Now, avoidance is more about restocking, and delaying is more about pricing it in the right way.
There's so much opportunity here, I think, for private label sellers, because
I think we lost Kris there.
Don't change it much, right? We're worried about other things. So I think there's a lot of opportunity here for that. But another one that you guys do is the reimbursements. What's that look like on your end? What do you guys do there?
Well, because the AI starts with data. Now, because we started doing pricing, and we want to do it for private labels, today we are doing pricing on 10 million Amazon products, roughly. It's huge, okay? 10 million is huge. Now, but you need to have almost billion data points to do the pricing, because you need to know the competitors, order, inventory, and everything. Now, once we have all the data, we look at all the data, and we kind of figure out that Amazon is doing 6, right? And there are reimbursement companies. They are only focused on reimbursement, and they are overcharging the customers, and it's a manual service. We thought why don't we use our AI and detect these anomalies super fast? Because we kind of detect it almost instantly if anything happens. For example, Amazon, there is a loss in the inbound, or there's a warehouse problem, or Amazon reimburses something which is not the right amount. There's 28 to 30 cases that will look at it. So we do it very fast, but there is a Amazon policy which says you cannot like automate the reimbursement. That's why we have a huge team, but they like manually open the cases and follow up on that. But because we automated the whole discovery, because we have all the data, it's faster, cheaper, and we are able to cover a lot more than anybody else can cover. And that's called reimbursements. Typically, if a private label is doing $100,000 a month, you can assume the reimbursement can be between $2,000 to $4,000. That's what we have seen. We have seen even 5-6% of the revenue can be reimbursed from Amazon.
I think people are shocked when the first time they do something with reimbursements and they realize how much Amazon owes them. I mean, it's a no-brainer to be doing that. And it's really interesting that you're using all that data from what you're doing with repricing and everything, and it makes a good fit for the reimbursements. For someone who's using your service, how are you charging for that? Are you charging a percentage of the reimbursements, or is it a part of the flat fee, or what is it?
Yeah, I mean, what we try to do is really we want to make this reimbursements free for the Amazon sellers. I think, we have seen companies charging 25%, 30%, and they are not even addressing like 50% of the reimbursements that can be done. And for us, like, we are more interested in subscriptions and loyal customers. So we welcome them. And if they join, we give them a lot of thousands of dollars of reimbursements are free if they join and use our pricing or restocking features. And beyond that, it's 20% that we also charge. But, in total, because we do a lot of free reimbursements, maybe they pay 10% of what has been recovered, because they are our customers.
And I see here on your site, you got a good trial. That's nice to see. You can book a demo as well, which we're big fans of. That's what we do as well. So we love that. But what's next? What's coming down the pipeline there? I mean, we know we're both software companies. We're always working on new features. Where do you see Eva going, and how much more smarter can she get?
Well, I mean, the next thing that, the thing we haven't talked about is the restocking. And that's really a pain for most of the private labels and resellers who are FBA sellers. Okay. The audience is the FBA sellers. And what we want to do with this is right now, and we are just launching it this month. I mean, we already have a masterminds group, like they do between $500K to $3 million a month, the private labels, and they are using the restocking module, and we are launching it, kind of next week, actually. So thank you for having me again. So with restocking, first of all, at the SKU level, we're going to say how many units needs to be restocked and when. I mean, at any point of time, the seller will have that visibility. The reason, again, why our forecast is more accurate is because we are the one doing the pricing. So we know exactly the sales velocity, not just the past sales velocity. We know the forecasted sales velocity as well. So that's one thing. But even more complex than that, which she will make it really simple, we rank the products based on the profit that the seller can get per SKU, okay? And that information doesn't exist on Amazon because Amazon doesn't know the cost. Now, we know the cost, we know the sales velocity, we incorporate all together in a balanced inventory algorithm, and then she will find the balance of restocking the most profitable items and also ensuring that all the rest of the items are not going to be out of stock for a certain period of time. So that's the kind of a great optimization problem to solve. That's what she's working on right now, Eva. And hopefully next week, we have some great customers. They are loyal customers of us, and they are very happy with that. And they are asking us not to release it because it's a great differentiator. But we want to release it to the whole community. And hopefully, everybody will like it. So then we're gonna, kind of complete the picture of repricing, restocking and reimbursement. That's what our focus is.
The restocking you're talking about, just that again is opening my mind to a lot of opportunities. I have made this mistake so many times about investing my capital in probably the wrong products that I sell when I could be getting a higher profit margin on something else. And this to me is really interesting, especially the more and more SKUs that you're offering. It could be a mistake allocating your capital to, even though the product's a good seller, you could be making more money with that money if you had the right product going. So that's the first time I've heard of that sort of analysis of where to allocate your capital and what product you should be putting in. That is really interesting to me. So you've opened my mind to two things today: private label repricing, and then also this restocking forecasting. Really interesting. I mean,
restocking. Like I, the first time, like 2 years ago, when we were like putting a vision together, I was thinking that Amazon is not very different than NASDAQ. So there are stocks. You need to know in which stock to invest. You need to know like what should be the price. So that's why it's like we already figure out the stock pricing right now, and the next thing is like which stock to invest. I mean, that's what we are doing with restocking. So we kind of take this analogy, and even today, look, every day we are having almost like for 10 million products, we are roughly having like 500 million transactions. We're gonna hit to 1 billion very soon. It's almost working like a bank now, the whole Eva. And a lot of data is helping us to come up with decisions around this three, major things that I think that can help Amazon sellers a lot, so that they can focus on growth with advertising or sourcing and manufacturing the right products. That's what we are trying to do.
Well, I'm a big fan of trying new software. I think I sign up for everything, really. So I could probably, you could probably see my name come through pretty shortly after this podcast. Because I'm really curious to check out the pricing. That's something that really got my attention. I just assumed it was repricing for just like maximize profits and stuff. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, sure. We try to keep it really cost effective. Like many of it's a Silicon Valley based company. So we have investors, and all the time, even venture capitalists are pushing you should have, you should focus on the large sellers. We don't do that. Like we try to help the ones, that are just starting their journey, and they can start with Eva as like for $24 a month. And many people think like, oh, is it a joke? Like you're talking about all this stuff and billion things and transactions and $24? Not really. Like we think that all these small sellers, some of them will fail, but some of them will make sure that they find enough money to have their freedom, and then some others will become like $1 million sellers. That's how the $1 million sellers were also started with a lot less capital, right? So, and then it goes up to like a $500 charge, even beyond $250,000 a month. So it's very cost effective, to use Eva, and we are happy with that. We are more in like helping people, and they all appreciate the price so far. And our customers love to stay with Eva. That's also one thing that I very much like to see,
Yeah, I'm sold too. You're going to see another name come through your system besides Kris's after this. And I want to go before we use up all your time. I want to touch real quick. Okay, so as a seller, as a private label seller, I hook up Eva and she's managing the pricing of my private label product. What am I doing? Am I putting in just parameters? Like I'm willing to be $29.99 to $36, or is it open-ended, or am I putting in my cost of goods, or all of my what parameters are we working on this pricing?
Right. So first of all, we always say that we are the Netflix of Amazon world. What does it mean? Like we want you to watch Eva. Like it's more about like, this is not a like a webinar that I showed you what Eva is, but it's pretty much like visualizing everything that you need to see. For example, when we talk about pricing, you're going to be having like 7 days, what's going on with the price, what happened if you had any competitors or even Amazon entered to your account or not. You're going to be seeing your orders, inventory, everything. So you just watch how it works. The only thing that you need to put there is what is your cost and what's the ROI that you want to get. These are the kind of the two things that is important. The rest is taken care by Eva. We don't need anything else. By the way, one of the design principles with Eva is what we call the laziness. Okay, it's important. Like my CTO is a lazy guy. I hope he's not watching us. But he's like, he's thinking like, I mean, I'm an Amazon seller. Of course, he doesn't look at it from the laziness, but he wants to, make sure that the software is doing this stuff rather than putting a lot of parameters and everything, because all the data is already on Amazon. We can fix that 3 problems by just use, but I cannot like take the best picture of the product, right? So we want the Amazon seller to focus on best manufacturer, like, or supplier, best price when buying something, and also the right video, the right picture. These are the things that requires the intelligence of the Amazon seller. The rest she can take care. I mean, Eva.
Sounds like Eva needs to meet Solozo.
Yeah,
we focus on the same stuff.
Yes, let's arrange the first date.
First date,
yeah.
No, we have a lot of sellers using Solozo, and I mean, they are very happy with that, and they're also happy that their restocking and pricing problems are sorted out. So I think it's a great combination, like Solozo and Eva. It's a great combination. It's a great complementary product. So our sellers can focus on their brand value.
You're 100% right. There's nothing that kills an advertising campaign faster than going out of stock. And your ranking, where you're trying to rank your product, it dies. But yeah, I'm sold. I'll tell you what, I love the passion that you have. It's really fun to talk to. I mean, Kris and I are pretty passionate about this business and all this. And I would say, to a degree, I'm that lazy type. I mean, it's the whole reason why this business model is attractive. I don't want to run a warehouse. I don't want to. I mean, Amazon FBA allows you to make decisions and sell worldwide. You can be a one-man show and do it because you're letting Amazon take care of a lot of the work. This is just one more thing, one more tool in your belt. If you can price competitively, I've really got to sit on this. This pricing has got me really thinking about opportunities that I've missed. I'm trying to think all the way through, like product launches, how I just maybe kept my price too low, too long, or all these different things I could have done differently to maybe have better success. I got to meet Eva. That's what I got to do.
Absolutely. Like Eva is waiting for you. She's available today evening. But I fully agree with you. Yeah. So I'm really glad that you invited me, and it's an honor to be on your podcast. And for sure that Solozo and Eva can do, like, it's a great combination for the sellers, and one will push for the growth, the other will take care of all the profitability and ensure that the right profit is coming. It's a great combination.
I love it. It really is. And now, before we jump off, tell everybody out there, they're listening right now, they're sold on it. They want to meet Eva now. How do they go about signing up, and what do they do to get in contact with you?
Yeah, that's, it's pretty easy. I mean, Eva.guru is the name of the company, as well as Eva.guru is the name of the website. So if you go to Eva.guru, there is a start 15 days trial button, and that will take like 3 minutes. And once the data is downloaded, then it will be ready to go for pricing and everything. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, as my name is also pretty simple, it's hi.mag@eva.guru will be my email. And for I think, we should do something special for Celoso listeners, like users as well as the listeners. I think that will be great. So we're gonna, if anybody says they are using Celoso, then we're gonna give $1,000 reimbursement for free. And if they connect with Eva, I think that will be a great start. At least we give $1,000 cash, and that will help, the sellers to go and, it'll be like a couple of months of free software. That's pretty much the same thing.
If you're listening and you use Celoso, that is free cash.
Yeah,
please take it.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you might get a lot of sign-up. You might have a lot.
That is simple.
Yeah, we'll be happy with that.
That's absolutely fantastic. Oh, we really appreciate it. We'll put that in the show notes as well. Make sure everyone knows that they can do that. But hi, we really appreciate you coming on. We're getting you back on. So maybe in a month or 2 months, we'll get you back on here. We'll talk about whatever else you got going on. The Amazon world changes every day. So it's nice to keep chatting with everybody, but unbelievable. Thanks so much for the time.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure to be your guest, for sure.
Well, all right, well, thanks for coming on.
Yep. And everybody listening out there, thank you for tuning in. If you like content like this, if you want to just be on Facebook and all of a sudden a video pops up where somebody's giving you $1,000 free reimbursement credit, you need to be sure to subscribe to Celoso's Facebook page, to Celoso's YouTube channel. Make sure you turn on notifications so you know when we go live. We go live almost every day. Also, stay tuned. Kris and I are doing a special project called Operation Launch, where we are from start to finish opening up a brand new Amazon account, sourcing a brand new product, launching it fully transparent. It's like a docu-series where you get to watch us do things right and do things wrong. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hi, we're going to get you involved. Once we launch that product, we're going to do some pricing on that. So we'll bring you in on that as well. So everyone stay tuned for that. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back at this again on Monday. Have a great day.